Hi, my shining lights. So, this dream that I had, I kept trying to tell it, but it seemed like I just couldn't tell it at the moment, at the time. But in this little timing, God been giving me confirmation on certain things, right? So, in this dream, I had walked in this house. When I walked into this house, it was a darkness in the house, right? And so they had three little kids, three little children. It was two boys and a girl that was in this home. This was Caucasian kids. And I proceeded to, either I could have went to the right in the hallway, or I could have went straight ahead. So I wound up going straight ahead. So my straight ahead was going to a room. So when I went to the room, I peeked my head back out to see if the kids was still right there. But it was like they was playing, like they was like trying to see who I was, but dipping back in, like peeping. So I started peeping at them, like calling them like, hey. So as I started to call them, they wind up coming. I was giving them like a word of advice, like good, you know what I'm saying? And it was like they was lost, like they didn't know what I was talking about. They really didn't understand what I was talking about. So then the parents came in, mama and dad, and now this parents represented foster care, step parents, real parents, auntie, uncle, grandma, grandpa. They was the parents over the children. They was guardian over the children, right? Oh Lord, this way is closed off. I guess I'm gonna have to go back around. So they was just guardian over these kids, right? So it was like the daddy was approaching me, but it's like he had an attitude. And I really didn't understand why he had an attitude with me. So the mother, she was just like, she really didn't. It's like she was doing everything he was doing, basically. Like, she was just basically following his rules. It didn't matter whether he was going through darkness or not. She was just following him, right? So it's like the dream switched. And when the dream switched, I wound up being in this house with another Caucasian man. He was drinking. He was like a drunk. But in this particular part, he was like picking with me. So I wound up going, knocking on the door, and he answered the door for me. But it seemed like he kept picking with me. Like it was something about me that he didn't like. It was like he needed an excuse to pick with me. And so it was like he kept trying to find reasons to pick with me. He kept trying to find reasons to tell me little things. It was like he was looking forward for me to mess with him so I can give him the opportunity to mess with me. But it wasn't being like that. It wasn't going like that, right? So it's like he constantly drinking. So I wound up looking in the backyard. When I looked in the backyard of their house, I see darkness outside. Like this feeling of darkness that was outside. So I wound up shutting the door back. So when I shut the door back, I see him, he following me in the house. So I didn't understand why he was still following me in the house. So he was telling me little stuff, just really trying to provoke me. So I wound up leaving out the house, going upstairs, and I came back downstairs. It seemed like that we was in these apartments where it was like upstairs, downstairs. So I wound up going back downstairs. When I went downstairs to open the door again, it was like my family was in there, and like people I knew, and the man, husband, and wife, which was two Caucasian women. One was older and one was young. So they started to pick with me, and I didn't understand why they was picking with me. So it was like they was being mean to me, was saying certain type of things to me, was trying to get me to, I guess, act how they was acting, or being how they was being toward me. That I needed to be like that toward them, to give them a reason to do what they wanted to do to me. So I kept saying, why y'all doing that to me? I said, you could just let me go. They didn't want to let me go. They didn't want to let me leave out the house in peace. They wanted me to be hurt before I leave out this house. They wanted me to be so hurt to where I'm hurt. So I was like, what if I couldn't walk? Would y'all just throw me out then? Would y'all be happy to just throw me out then? It was like, no. It was like, That'll be too easy for them to just throw me out. If I couldn't walk, they'll make me suffer until I get to the door to fight my way. The best way I know how to get myself out the house while they picking with me and doing whatever. So the man come back, the dad, he comes back. He just like steady picking with me. So my cousin Iris, she like whispering in my ear, talking about what the situation is going on. And my sister Toya, she see her doing that. So I see that is my auntie Minnie, my auntie Michelle, my auntie Lisa. I see like Mia, her baby Benicia. Like I see the family, the normal family who always, show up at the gatherings or whatever. That's, the family that was in the dream. So it's like the dream switch. When a dream switch, we wind up being in this place. So when a dream switch, we wind up being in this another place. And in this place, it was also dark. It was a house that was also dark. But in this house, I seen like kids, but they was adults, but they was like had a child frame, but it was like they was controlled, like something raised them for so long, so when it was gone, they was out, like they didn't have no, like they was soulless, like they didn't really have like godly soul in them, you know what I'm saying? And it was this woman that was raising them, and they had like big old long heads with this big face, but they looked at weird in the face, and their skin was like white, like it had no veins through it, but they was human, but it was something about them that was wrong. So the lady like kind of had them like on computers and stuff all day or whatever. I don't, the game, like they was game heads or whatever. So when I look, I was like, what is, what it is? They was walking through the dark hallway, like somebody was leading them through the dark hallway. She was like, oh, that's my turn. They waiting to get back on the game. Me, my auntie Minnie, my auntie Monique, and I think my auntie, who was in there? Iris, my cousin Iris, and my sister Talia. We was in this house because we went to go get some documents. Like we needed to be on the computer. So, we wind up seeing that the children, they came set like by the hallway, but like they was waiting on their turn to get back on the computer. So we was like, we gonna leave, don't worry about it, we'll be all right. So we wind up leaving. When we leave, it turned into like normal outside, like normal day outside. So we like in New Orleans, across the river, not on the West Bank, but in New Orleans side. So we in New Orleans, and it's just like, it turned out like we heard the rumors of war. We heard that the earth is about to end. We heard that the earth is ending. We heard that things was going on, like these things is happening. So we wind up gathering all our kids. So as we gathering our kids, it was showing me different households, what it was doing. I see people going, running, getting their cars, like packing up or whatever. Then I seen a house where my auntie Michelle was at and my auntie Lisa. They were sitting there talking. Then I seen my auntie Monique talking with them, but she wound up wandering off. When she was wandering off, she wound up going, it was like she was going back to go do something she ain't had no business doing. So my auntie Minnie was like, look at her, she going to be sneaky. She going to be sneaky, going to do what she going to do. And but it's a dream, going to do what she going to do, being sneaky. And when I looked, I knew what she was going to do already, because it was like I was getting seen that she was going to meet a man. So when I seen it was like she was going to meet a man to go make some money. So when I looked, I was like, Auntie Minnie, come on. And she was like, y'all go ahead, because she wanted to go be sneaky. So we wound up, deciding that we about to leave. So Iris and my sister, they wind up like they just appeared, like they was gone. And my auntie Minnie is like, she already knew her plans, what she was going to do. So she was just going to do what she was going to do. And it wound up being me and my auntie Michelle. So when it wound up being me and my auntie Michelle, it's like it switched to we in this car. She driving, going down the bridge from the New Orleans, Greater New Orleans bridge. She going down from the West Bank side, from New Orleans to the West Bank side. So she just driving. We wind up being in Algiers, then we wind up being in Gretna. So when I noticed that I'm in a car with Auntie Michelle, I'm like, she driving. I'm like, Auntie Michelle, where are you going? What's going on? Where you going? Now, she said, she looked at me and she was just crying. She started crying. I was like, Auntie Michelle, where you going? Where you going? What you doing? I already knew what she was going to do. She was going to meet, looking for her ex, Mr. Mike. So I'm like, Auntie Michelle, we gotta go. We gotta get off of this. We gotta, what you call it? As soon as I said that, the bridge started to crackling from under us. So I had to grab the wheel. When I grabbed the wheel, I noticed that on the other side of the highway, on the other side of the bridge, I see cars packed up, piled up, going forward, right? They was piled up, they couldn't move. So I wound up having to get off of this bridge that we on, because it's crackling, crumbling. So I don't know, it's like something was guiding me to right. So we wound up being in a Gretna neighborhood. When we got to the Gretna neighborhood, we had to find a spot to go to be safe until we get back out from here. My Auntie Michelle went to crying because she knew that what she was doing was wrong. So she wound up crying. It was like, come on. So I started holding her hand. I was like, come on. So we wound up getting into this house. When we walk into this house was nothing but red pictures, red sofa set, red rugs, red flowers, red curtains, red, just everything was just red, decorated red. So we walked through the hallway. When we walked through the hallway, we got to the other side of the dent where people chill and play. So I see a husband sitting in his lounge chair. And so he just looking like, like looking out the window, like he looking like it's too late, or looking like he disappointed, or looking like this stuff is real, or looking like, oh my God. So he looking like, oh my God, in his face. So his wife wound up coming in the door. When his wife came in the door, he looked at us like we was doing something wrong, or like, so the wife was calm, collective, cool, right? So it's like, I knew that it was a matter of time before we had to get out this house. But it was like the house, it was showing me of this house. I don't know why, if it was representing peace, or if this house was representing chaos before the storm. So but God gave me confirmation on all this. So I come back to this house, and I'm gonna come back to all the parts that God gave me confirmation on. So I grabbed my Auntie Michelle hand, and I'm like, Auntie Michelle, we gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of this situation. So it's like the spirit was giving me a straight shot of what it wanted me to do. So I seen this window, and I could see a straight shot of the ground. It was not broken or crackling. It was just a straight shot. So I went up, grabbed my Auntie Michelle, and I jumped out the window, and I started to be on this. Soon I jumped out the window, it was like I was on this sidewalk, and then I woke up out the dream. So yes, I have a lot of interpretation of what this dream was about, because God gave me confirmation. I'm just making this video because I really kept trying to make it, but it just seemed like every confirmation I had, it kept switching, it kept changing, and God gave me more confirmation. So yes, now I know that this is the confirmation that God is telling me to tell you guys, and that I'm about to leave him out this call, and I'm going to find some videos where I can kind of give y'all ideas on what I'm talking about, who I'm talking about, and I'm going to put in the video, and I'm going to make this video, and then I'm going to come back. All right? Love you guys.